Build It Yourself Laboratory. I'm John. I'm the chief engineer at Build It Yourself. I'm an electrical engineer out of Cornell. And my favorite thing to do is to build, pretty much build anything. Started when I was your age, building go-karts and forts. And after school, I worked on a lunar landing module and a submarine system and a rocket ship Patriot missile system. So I'm a builder at heart, and I hope I can inspire you to also be builders. I'd like to introduce you to my friend and fellow builder, Vincent. Vincent, can you say hello and share a little bit about your interests?
Sure.
Where you're studying?
I'm Vincent. I'm studying fine arts, minor in urban planning at the Art Architecture College at Cornell. I'm pretty much like John, except with drawing. I've been drawing ever since I was really young, and that has sort of evolved into an interest in architecture, design, UX, UI, all sorts of things. I'd say my favorite thing to do in my spare time when I'm not drawing is either reading comic books or going to a museum and checking out the artwork there. So excited to get to know you guys and show you what we have today.
Great. All right, Vincent. So let me start by introducing you to the world of 3D graphics. Can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Great. Okay, so do we have any readers here? Anyone like to read? When we start a project at Build It Yourself, we start with the problem and the mission. So who'd like to read this part of the problem? Any volunteers? Sanvi, how about you?
Okay. The problem. Reality can be expensive and dangerous.
That's right. Continue.
3D simulators enable pilots and other professionals to learn skills quickly, safely, and at a relatively low cost.
Excellent. You're a good reader. Here's another part of the problem. Would someone else like to volunteer reading this part of the problem?
James with his hand.
A 2D floor elevation don't give you a good sense of what will a house feel like.
Right.
Computer-aided drafting, CAD, is an important tool for architects and industrial designers. It enables them to visualize a solution more quickly and deeply than if they were from 2D elevation and plan drawings.
Great. Who is that just read?
It's
What's your
James.
name? All right. Thank you, Bing.
Yeah,
Ben.
James joined
Okay.
our time machine class.
All right. Okay, cool. And another perspective on 3D versus 2D graphics. Gazelle or Lavana, would you like to read this?
Okay.
Go for it.
Some complex concepts are difficult to understand when described with text and 2D drawings. 3D animated models enable scientists to better understand and compare complex, abstract phenomena.
Right. Good. Okay. You can easily understand just by looking at these pictures the difference between 2D and 3D. And all of that is important. Training pilots and doctors, enabling architects to build and visualize a building. But most importantly, Who would like to read this? Lavana, was that? Or Drake, how about you? Drake, would you like to take a cut at reading? Most important reason to learn 3D graphics? Who would like to volunteer? Casey?
I think James has his hand up, right, James?
Okay, James. Thanks, Vincent.
Most importantly, 2D cartoons are boring. 3D drawing tools will be essential for animators of the future to create more realistic and more innovative entertainment.
Innovative entertainment. Excellent, James. Okay. And most importantly, which game would you rather play? This is one of the very first computer games that ever existed. Whoops, sorry. Which game would you rather play, Drake? So your parents probably played games like this, and you guys have come a long way since your parents. Much more advanced you are. So great. So if those are the problems of 2 dimensions, our mission is to learn to think and express our ideas in 3 dimensions. So we're going to show you some drawings that were done by our team and by members like you. These are rocket ships. Our first project is to design a rocket ship, a flying space saucer, a space station to the planet Pluto. And here's a science fiction rocket. So I want to show you how this rocket is designed in 3D Blender. That's the tool that we're going to be teaching you. So I'm going to play, it's about a 5.5 minute video, but it will show you what you will learn in the next 8 weeks. And in the process of using this tool, you will learn to think in 3D. You'll learn to think in terms of X, Y, and Z coordinates. You'll learn how to transform from one plane into another plane. You'll be practicing some really interesting mathematics. So without further ado, let me just fire this guy up.
Using just spheres in Blender, you can easily create a rocket like this. You can duplicate the sphere multiple times and overlay it, color it different, and get something extremely close to this result.
John,
You may need
John, I
to
don't
share the whole screen.
I'm sorry, full screen is not there. Let me try again. Okay. Can you see now? Full screen?
Just the PowerPoint still.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Thanks, Vincent. Let me get to.
Great. So let's dive into that. First, I'm going to delete this
Hold on a
view,
second.
and then I'm going to add in an icosphere. This icosphere, I'm going to apply what's called a modifier just to make it a little bit smoother before I start copying and pasting it. And then I'm going to give it smooth shading. Now, every time I copy and paste this object will also copy with those features. And finally, I'm going to add a material to this. So later I can color it easier just by duplicating the material. All right, so now I'm going to first stretch this out and create the body of the rocket ship. Now I'm going to duplicate this again and create a window. I'm gonna shrink this down a little, and there we go. All right, now I'm gonna flatten that. I'm gonna create a frame around this window. I'm gonna duplicate the window, cockpit window, scale it up just a little bit, and then flatten it. And we'll kind of create a donut shape around the window between the body and the cockpit window there. Now, I'm going to take the body again, and I'm going to duplicate this. Remember, these are all just icospheres. I'm going to rotate this about 45 degrees, shrink it down, kind of line it up with the body of the rocket. And then I'm going to flatten it. Now you'll notice I have to keep jumping around. We're working in 3 dimensions. So you have to be able to flip around and make sure your objects are stacked on top of each other correctly. That's something you'll get used to really quickly working in Blender. Now I'm gonna select both of the wings, duplicate them, and move them down to the back. Right now, it kind of looks like some sort of fish, but if I scale this down, that looks a lot better. I can duplicate this and rotate it as I duplicate it, and it'll create a really cool effect. Feel free to play with the spacing of these. I want to duplicate this, rotate it, select the other ones, duplicate it again, rotate those. And now that creates a pretty cool effect on the back. Let's create a quick antenna. I'm going to duplicate the body, shrink this down, stretch it out a little bit, duplicate it again. Oops. There's always undo if you make a mistake. I'm gonna squish this down, scale this up, and place this on the front. Now I'm gonna duplicate this again, this time squishing it pretty flat and moving it behind the biggest part of the antenna. And then I'm gonna do that a few times, but I'm gonna scale it up each time. Just squish it flatter to kind of keep them the same thickness. I think that looks a little bit cooler. And now, as we're doing this, just remember, we only start with a single sphere, right? And so far, we already have this. So even without learning a lot of Blender, it's really easy to create a really cool rocket ship. Now, one thing I personally think is really fun to do is add in little details. I'm not going to go overboard. I just want to show you how quick you can do this. But just using spheres, once again, around the frame where the window is, we can actually copy and paste this and just kind of go around. You can go and make sure it's like exactly where you want it by going around the object. But again, I don't want to spend too much time there. But the longer you spend, the better the quality of your rocket ship in the end. Now what I'm going to do is begin to add materials. So that first material we added, we can give this the main color for the rocket. Purple is my favorite color, so I'm going to go with purple. I'm going to make it pretty metallic and give it a little bit more shine, so it's almost reflective. Now that we have this space, we can click on the other objects. I can clone or duplicate the materials, and once I do that, I can change them independent of the other ones. So that allows me to really quickly add a lot of color and detail and depth into this. And the cool thing about Blender, you can actually drag and drop materials. So instead of adding this to everything over and over again, you're in a position where you can just drag and drop once you set up the main materials you like, and you can get a really cool result super fast. So though it's not exactly like the first example I showed you, it's very close, very similar, only using a sphere. And I think this is only using 3 materials total. So in Blender, that's how you can create a rocket with one shape, just a few minutes.
Great. Wow. I get inspired every time I see Brent make a rocket like that in 5 minutes. Who of you would like to make your own, design your own rocket ship or your own alien or your own planet scene? Anyone have any ideas? So I'd like to hand off to Vincent, and Vincent's going to show you how to maneuver around the Blender menus and how to add geometric shapes. You're gonna basically in the next few weeks become experts in solid geometry and in understanding how to think in terms of 3 axes, the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. And when you study mathematics in college, you'll be ahead of your buddies because you'll have some very practical experience understanding how to think along 3 axes or in 3 dimensions. Okay, for those of you who have installed Blender, you can follow along with Vincent. Vincent, you can share your screen anytime. And I think Vincent may also have some examples of 3D projects he's worked on.
Yes, and some other things from the classes that we've been running already. So
Great.
let's see. So this is we're gonna start off real simple, okay, guys? We're gonna just focus on making a very simple rocket. This one actually right here. But before we do that, I want to explain a little bit of what each different component in our Blender world does. All right. So if you have Blender, feel free to follow along, but I'm just going to talk a little bit for our first few minutes. So over here, which is probably one of the more important parts in the dashboard, we have a variety of tools. The main tool you're going to be using is this. This is the select mouse. It's just like a normal mouse. When you have this tool selected, you can click on things in your scene, click around, grab objects, etc., etc. Now, I'll get to these tools in a second, but let me just real quick explain how the scene works. All right. So think of the scene. I don't know. Do we have any video gamers out here that play a lot of 3D video games, Fortnite or anything like that? Yes, no, maybe so. All right. Well, you can think of the grid here as the ground almost in Fortnite, or an area where your player would move, because this grid actually exists in a 3-dimensional space. So you can navigate around this world in a variety of ways, right? One way is by using our menu over here, which lets us spin around our object, zoom in and out, and move by dragging and clicking. I'll demonstrate each of these in a second. First thing I'm going to talk about is the moving icon here with the hand. So if you have your mouse button and you left click and hold left click right here, you can drag and shift around your scene. Whatever direction you move, your view will move too. It's kind of like you're pulling your scene in the direction that you'd like to move it. Right up here, this is the zoom button. This isn't rocket science. No pun intended. Anybody wonder what this does? Give you a hint. Yeah. So the zoom button zooms in to the center of your screen when you move your mouse forward, and then you can zoom out by moving it backward. Same idea as the hand, right? Hold down left click, move around, zoom in and out. But perhaps one of the most important and confusing tools at first is going to be this guy up here, right? This thing looks crazy, doesn't it? What the heck is this? Do I have anyone who's a math whiz or an engineering whiz in the crowd? Any experts by any chance? Ian says 1633 Ian says they are a math expert. Well, this will make sense to you then, Ian, because these are actually like graph points.
Coordinates.
Yes, exactly. So these are actually like a graph, except it's a graph that's 3D, right? So you have your X and Y axis, but you also have your Z axis. And Blender actually helps you out a little bit because it color codes, right? So you can sort of see red is your x-axis, y is the green one, and then the blue one, which is sort of implied, is actually right here, up and down. It's the z-axis. So if you click and hold this sphere, you can actually rotate around your scene like so. And keep in mind that you're rotating relative to these axes, almost like a graph, right? You can also snap to views like I think Brent was doing. You can click the X button to look at the X view, Y button, look at the Y view, Z button from the top. Pretty self-explanatory, but also something that you have to get used to. Trust me, when I first started using Blender, it was a headache for a bit, so don't get discouraged because it's very confusing. All right, so those are like the very basic tools, okay? And that's what we'll talk about from the toolbars for now. Who's ready to add an object?
I am.
Great. Now this one is a bit of a no-brainer, right? We're gonna want to go to our add button, left click, and we're gonna want an object. Now straight away, you'll notice, let me deselect my cylinder. You're gonna notice all this crazy stuff, right? Mesh, curve, surface, meatball, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to worry about that stuff yet. We're just gonna worry about meshes for now, which are the sort of most simple objects, I guess. So if we go to our mesh, we can see we have a variety of different objects here, but we want to make this very simple rocket like I have right in front of me. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down and add a cylinder. Before that though, just so I don't confuse you guys, I'm going to move this guy out of the way real quick because my cylinder will appear inside of him. And we'll get to how I did that in just a second using the drop-down menu. All right, so add mesh. Boom, right here, cylinder. Okay, so I'm gonna go up again to the right corner, remember where my navigator tool is, and I'm gonna adjust my view a little bit. Now, there's a bit of an issue here, right guys? My rocket is stuck in the floor, which isn't gonna be, I never worked on rockets and stuff like John, but I can assume that would be a bit of an issue if my rocket was embedded in the ground before it took off. So now we can use the move tool. So I'm gonna take my mouse, go over here, and I'm gonna left click this button that looks like a compass kind of. And this will select my move tool. And then I'll left click my cylinder. And now you'll see, just like the widget, right? The navigator tool we talked about, the little arrows appear on my cylinder, and I'll even adjust it a tiny bit so you can see all three of them. Yeah. Remember, it's going to be a bit of a headache at first maybe, but it's a 3D space. So we got our x-axis, our y-axis, and our z-axis. The main thing we want to do, right, is pull our rocket out of the ground. So I'm going to left click and hold this blue arrow, which is the z-axis, and then pull my shape upwards like that. And let me get it. There we go. I can release and it'll stay there. All right, looking pretty good. But obviously not really long enough, right? So Brent was using these things that we call like keyboard shortcuts. And I'm going to keep using the drop-down menu so you guys can learn a bit more of what the interface does. But once you get really good, you can start to do stuff really fast. I don't know why I'm thinking of Fortnite a lot, but I know a lot of people play Fortnite these days. So it's sort of like when you get really good at building, you can build really fast. When you get really good at Blender, you can click the buttons really fast. And it's kind of like casting a spell or something. I don't know, pretty cool. But for the sake of demonstration, I'll left click my object, right, to select it. Then I'm going to go to my toolbar over here. I'm going to go 1, 2 down and take a look at my scale tool. Let's left click that and see what happens. Now you guys will notice, right? I got these cubes on the ends of my points instead of arrows? Well, what this lets me do is scale my object along the Z, Y, or X axes. Pretty handy. I can make a super wide shape, but I don't want to do that, right? I want to make a tall rocket. So let's grab the Z value and just pull like that. There we go. It stretches it out. Has anyone here ever used Play-Doh? I hope so.
Yes, yes, sir.
So this is kind of like we're grabbing Play-Doh and we're stretching out the Play-Doh, right? Except we're using a tool. So I'm going to go back to my move tool, select it, adjust my shape a little bit again, just like I did before. So it's sitting on the ground. I'm also going to move it to the side of it because I want to add my next shape, which is important to remember. Your shapes will always sort of appear right here, which is the origin point where all the shapes meet. So if you're ever adding a shape and you can't find it, good chance you have something blocking into the origin point. How's everyone doing so far? I know this is mind-blowing. No, I know it's not as mind-blowing as you may think, but trust me, you got to get the building blocks to get to the final product. All right, I'll go back to my add menu, go down to mesh, and I think I want to add a cone to make the tip of my rocket. There we go. Remember, my cone isn't going to do a whole lot for my rocket if it's stuck in the ground, right? Does anyone in the class remember how I could pull the cone out of the ground? Same way the cylinder.
Drag the X coordinate up.
Ah, yes, that's Ian, right? Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, we're gonna want to grab, oh, the blue, remember? Blue is Z, red is X, green is Y. But you basically got the gist of it, right? We want to grab the arrow facing up, pull our shape upwards, but we're gonna want to keep pulling our shape upwards. And one great thing about Blender, right? No gravity, so boom. I can just sort of float that up there. Peyton, yeah, what's up? You have a question?
How do we delete or erase things?
Oh, good question. So let's say I don't like this rocket right here anymore, right? And I want to get rid of it. Well, there's a couple of ways we can do this, right? The one that I usually use is I click X on the keyboard while I have my shape selected, and then just click delete. And then it's gone. I think that's the simplest way. Oh, two other questions. Go for it. I think I saw Casey and then Peyton. You can go ahead again.
I found out easier way to delete things.
Did you use a? Well, go ahead. Tell me what you did.
Yeah, you just click the thing and on your keyboard there's thing said delete and you just press that.
Oh, okay. Wow. Maybe my version of Blender doesn't do that, but that's good that that works. Sometimes if you have an older or a newer version, there are slight discrepancies in how the keyboards and things will function. Oh, Casey, yes. Oh no, that was you already. Yeah, we just spoke. Sorry. Did someone else have a hand up, or was that that might have just been my overactive imagination?
Pranesh has her hand up.
Pranesh, okay, yeah, go ahead.
How do you make things longer?
Sorry.
How do you make things longer?
Yes, we want so let's go back over to our toolbar, right? Grab our scale tool again. And I'll just select this object. These little lines with like the boxes on the end, this will let us stretch in whatever direction, like we're stretching Play-Doh. So like, imagine you're pulling the shape kind of. So not only can you make the shape tall like that, but you can also make it long like that, right? By pulling the Y one, or you can pull the X one and stretch this way. Is that what you meant? Okay, good. Cool. Yeah. And oh, one other tip I'm going to give you guys that you may be wondering how I'm getting my shapes to snap back to their original states like that, right? So let's say I stretch out my shape like this, but I don't really like how it looks. Well, I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Control Z and Control C, but just for the sake of the menu, let's left click up on Edit right here in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. And I'll just click Undo, and my shape will revert back to where it was. So if you've ever, you know, done like a, I don't know, treasure hunt maybe, or a treasure map, think of this as moving backwards, right? Through the little places on your treasure map or treasure hunt. It's sort of like remembers every spot you've been and then can move backwards. So if I like really messed up, like, oh no, oh, what's happening? Ah, I can just go edit, undo, edit, undo, edit, undo, and there we go, back at the beginning. This is like the most, and I don't say this like a joke, this is one of the more powerful tools of Blender is edit undo, because you'll make a lot of mistakes when you start and you'll be like, oh no, what happened? So just keep that in mind. All right. Oh, Casey, did you still have your hand up or did you have another question? Oh no, she's okay. Pranisha has another question, I think.
How do you move things?
Right. Okay. Does anyone in the class remember how we moved this this shape up here?
I remember.
Oh, someone said it. I'm not sure who said it, but
Ian.
Ian,
163.
I believe you said the correct tool, right? Movement tool, right?
Yes. Yes, the movement tool and drag the blue is the X coordinate and drag it up.
Yep. So remember, we can move our view with this little widget over here. And then we can use the little arrows to drag our object into place. Boom. Boom. There we go.
Ian, thank you for helping your teammates. At Build It Yourself, we really love it when we can help each other learn new tricks. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to chime in. You'll be teaching Vincent and me tricks very soon, I'm sure.
All right. Peyton has their hand up. Go ahead, Peyton.
How do I make the shape again? I forgot, because whenever you were explaining, I was downloading this program.
Oh, no problem. No problem at all. All right. Does anyone in the class remember how to make a shape?
Go to the.
I do.
Great. Who is this? When
It's Ian
you
again.
speak, please say your name so we know who's talking. Great, Ian. Go to add.
I know. It's me, James, and go to add and then next, and then choose our shape.
Yep.
Great.
Right on the money, Ian. Thanks. Hey, Ian, guys, Ian's already becoming a master blender specialist.
That was me, James.
Oh, James. I'm sorry, James. My fault. You guys have been paying good attention. So yeah, and then you would just left click, and remember your object spawns down low in like the origin point. So if you want to add multiple objects, you're going to have to move this one out of the way. And then you could go ahead and add another one if you wanted to. All right. So now we have our rocket ship. I'm just going to adjust this a little bit more. There we go. And remember, once you get really good, right? Like you can start snapping around like boom, 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 and you can move really quickly. So like if I want to look from the top and line my stuff up from the top correctly, then like, okay, this is good. I'll look from the sides a bit. Yep, sides line up. Perfect. Okay. But I'm going to keep going at this pace just for the sake of demonstration. All right. Okay, so now let's make our rocket a little colorful, right? It's looking kind of boring. So I'm gonna select the base of my rocket, and most of you are probably seeing something like this, right? With a little orange box. But what you want to click on is what I was just on, which is this little red ball down here in our menu to the right. Now, I know, right, this menu is probably going to look like an alien spaceship itself with all of these crazy symbols and like gadgets and stuff, but don't worry about it. I've been using this program for like 3 or 4 years now, and I don't even know what every single small menu within every menu of these icons do. So it's okay to feel a little overwhelmed at first, and you'll learn them quick. You'll pick it up. It's kind of like riding a bike. So we're gonna go to the one that looks kind of like a little beach ball down here, and we're gonna left click, and you'll see that we have a little menu pop up here. Most important thing is we want to make sure our cylinder is selected, right? Cylinder 001. Yeah, that looks like what I want. And let's not worry about this stuff quite yet, but we're going to go down to where it says new right here. And this way we can create a new material. Now, this is how Brent colored his rocket ship in the video, guys. And this is like personally one of my favorite parts of Blender, because when you get good, and you'll learn this in our classes, I like to draw the textures myself in real life, and then you can import them into the program. So we're going to make a new material. And again, you're going to see a whole crazy menu pop up with nodes and surfaces, previews, et cetera, et cetera. Don't worry, don't get overwhelmed. Now let's just take it step by step. All right. We're going to just make our rocket into one color. Now, real quick, I'm going to switch something up here just for the sake of the demo. You'll notice the colors went away, but this is probably what you guys are seeing, okay? So I'm going to go to base color. And does anyone have a preference? Who wants a special color for our rocket? Blue? Oh, I love, James. What's that, James?
Red.
Red. Okay, we'll do a blue and red rocket. Blue is like my go-to color too, so appreciate that. So we're gonna make the base of the rocket blue, okay? So let's go to our base color and click blue right here. That looks pretty good, and then click away. But you'll notice, right, my material didn't actually change color. And that was why I switched that little setting, because I didn't want to confuse you guys because you're seeing something different. So if you go up to the material icon over here, you can see that we have a variety of render settings, right? Which sort of tell us what we're going to see in Blender. Basically, each of these little buttons lets us see a more complex side of Blender. Has anyone ever watched a 3D movie?
Sure.
So you can kind of think of each of these buttons as adding a layer to your 3D glasses. All right. So, this is like a skeleton. This would be like the solid object. Then you get more details, and then you get like lighting and animation rendering and all sorts of cool stuff. So for now, we're just going to focus on.
Can you show Vincent what the wire diagram looks like and just
Yeah,
go
sure.
to progression? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is like the skeleton, right? Think of this as like the bones, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then this, right, is the solid sort of regular view that we were looking at. Sort of if you threw the I don't know, the skin on. This gives us our color, right? So if you guys want to see your color, click this material preview right here, and this will show you your colors. And then this last icon right here, which is the render.
Shadows.
What's that?
Will it add the shadows?
Yes, great, good guess, Ian. So this would add shadows, right? So this is my light over here, which is why the light is coming from the side. But, depending on how you've positioned your rocket ship or your build might look a little different because your stuff might be in a different spot. But one thing to keep in mind is when using these, if you're building stuff, you probably want to be building in the solid mode or in the material preview mode if you need to see the color, because building in the render view can be really bad or really hard on your computer because it'll have to process like the light and stuff whenever you move your view. And it's fine to build in the wireframe mode, but it can be a little confusing at first because we haven't really talked about that. So maybe stick to just shading, or excuse me, solid and our view right here that we're in now, for the material preview. All right, so I think we had a request to do a red and blue rocket, but what I'm just going to do really quickly is show everyone how we could make the same color here. Now you can click the new shape, right? Same way we've been selecting, and then go to the material drop-down menu, right here. And this is a list of all our materials. So I'm going to click my blue material, and that would be, you know, how we'd make our rocket one color. But instead, I know we wanted a red one, so we'll give it a nice red top. And there we go. We have an extremely simplified rocket, right? Now we can also maybe do some stuff, play with our metallic setting maybe. Remember Brent, whoop, that's not what I meant to click. Brent was making his rocket all shiny. So if we go down to metallic and we just click, let's do 100. There we go. Whoops. Not quite that much. You can also adjust the setting, right? By left clicking and holding left click on your mouse like that. And then dragging it outwards. There we go. So we can just make it a little bit metallic. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, and if you click these little circles, you'll open up another menu. So if you do that by accident, don't worry about that. You know, just you do that by accident, you can just click out of it and it'll go away. So there we go. I'll move my light a little bit closer to this rocket. Oh, Praneesh, yes.
How did you get to the colors thing?
Sure. Does anybody remember how I got to the color setting? Yes, so this red ball right here.
And click at the meal, right?
Yes, so Praneesh, probably what you're seeing, it looks a little something like, just get this guy over here. Looks a little something like this, right? So you want to click, since you haven't added a color yet, new. And then right here where it says base color, click inside of this little white rectangle and you can select whatever color you want. And you can also make the colors like darker, right? Or brighter by dragging this slider over here to the right. I'm more of a fan of extremely vibrant colors myself, but you know, some people like the mysterious colors, Batman vibe or something.
Vincent, this looks like it's worthy of the Contemporary Art Museum.
I could just delete all of this and present it blank, and it could be worthy. It could be a commentary for the Contemporary Art Museum, probably.
Cool.
But I can, if you guys would like, I can show you. I think I got another project in here.
How do you change the size of the shape?
Ah, yes. Remember, right? Our scale tool right here. That way you can stretch the shape, right? Pull it out long or stretch it side to side. And if you want to like know a cool shortcut, Max, I think, asked that. If you click S on your keyboard and you just drag, you can shrink or grow your shape like this, which is like the best way to do it because it'll save you a lot of time in the future, which is pretty fun. And then once you have the size you like, you just click again. All right, anyone else have any quick questions or anything? If not, I'm gonna show a few of like the really complex. I'll show a little animation that we did in one class, and then I'll show I'm building an alien for the class tonight, so I can show that too. Okay, I'm gonna.
You guys are welcome while Vincent is showing you all the tricks to, I expect some of you are already doing this, build your own rocket.
Yeah, and don't feel free to keep going, right? You don't have to stop here. What if you want to add some wings or something, right? Maybe like boom, boom, something like that. Then we can have our rocket look like a flying rocket, right? Something like that, maybe. I don't know, whatever you like. All right, so I think I gotta stop share real quick, and then I'm gonna see all of the messages that I've been getting. Whoops, in my chat. How do I delete a shape in Blender? Okay, I want to build a 3D Among Us later. That sounds like really fun. My rocket doesn't look like a rocket. It looks like a person wearing a hat. That's fine too. Here we go. All right, so real quick, let me go through how to delete something again. Cube here, just move it over here. Remember, right? We can grab our object and we can delete it in a variety of ways. I'm going to show you right clicking with your mouse. Okay, this might be easier than X for you guys to remember. So right click on your object, scroll down to the bottom, click delete. There you go. One more time.
We only have a couple more minutes before our Bing, I think, is going to wrap up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. All right, real quick then, let me just zoom out. There we go. Here's a little animation. Oh, let's go back to the beginning. You can see the little ship flying around down there. A little flying saucer dude. Maybe going to abduct some people. I don't know, some cows from the farm. So this is a very simple animation that we can learn when we have this class, scaling, all that stuff. And then real quick, this is a really complex project, but this is an alien I'm working on. So you can see he's got like one leg only right now, and he's a cube, but he can walk, right? He can jump, boing, boing. He can duck, all sorts of stuff.
Sweet. Sweet. All right, Vincent, thank you. So guys, if anyone has been working on their rockets, we have a couple of minutes if you'd like to share what you've been working on. And
Yes,
Bing, just
I'm
let
here
us
to
know
share.
when you like to wrap it
I
up.
also want to share my rocket,
Okay.
but doesn't look like a rocket. Looks like a man wearing a hat.
Well, that's
Go
great.
ahead.
That's why we do rockets, because really a rocket or a spaceship can look like anything. So one of the reasons we like you to focus first on rockets is because anything can work. Go ahead. Who is that? Do you know how to share your screen?
You know, click the share screen, or
There you go.
if your Zoom is at another update, you can just click the new share.
Okay. Go for it if you like to share your work. Ian. All right, Ian, you got it. I like that you made your cone bigger than your cylinder. Cool.
Good
Great,
job,
great,
Ian.
great.
Who else want to share? Is there time to share? How about Max? Max, do you want to share?
My project is on another computer.
Okay.
Oh, it's
No
okay.
worries.
How about Lavana? Lavana, you were the first one who joined the class. Do you want to share? Lavana, can you hear us?
Yeah, I don't.
It's all right. How about James? James, do you want to share?
Sure. But first I need to like have, this is what I'm having. I'm not sure what to click.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where to click though.
Okay, so yeah, we can help you set up Blender after the demo, James. You
Yeah.
can try clicking on finish, but mhm.
Let's give time to other students who made the projects. We will help everyone to set up your Blender for the real course. So there's no worries. Today, let's just try. So anyone who has made, maybe it's not a completed project, but just a tiny bit you want to share with us, feel free to share. You can either open your microphone or raise your hand up and let us know. We'll give you time. How about Drake? Drake, do you want to share? Okay. So we still have a few more minutes. Does anyone has questions to our teachers, to John or Vincent?
I have a question that I'm answering right now, which actually in the chat, which might be helpful if I could share again really quickly and show it one more time. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Someone direct messaged me. All right, so this is how you add color. Okay, so add my object. Let's just move it up really quickly. I'm going kind of fast, sorry. Remember, we go to our little ball down here. You're probably not seeing any color at first. We're gonna go to base color. Let's make this guy blue, click outside. And then to bring the color into the scene, right? We wanna go to material preview or rendered, right, in the top corner. This is something that I used to forget all the time too. And I'd be like, why isn't my texture showing? Why isn't my color showing? So either this button up here, material preview, or this button right here, rendered. And you can click material preview and there you go, your colors will show. And that's it, yeah. Did that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, thanks for sharing, Praneesh. Very nice rocket.
Yeah.
Right.
Pink,
Yeah.
cute color. Nice job. Looks really cute. Good job.
I like that Praneesh kept her rocket right in the center of the axes. Once you move your cylinder and your cone off of the XYZ center axes, then it gets a lot harder to line things up. So if you keep objects along the X, Y, and Z axes, when you first build your object, it's usually easier to make things symmetrical. Once you rotate or once you move off to the side, then you have to do a lot of looking at every different angle in order to make sure things are lined up.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Pranesh. I saw Ian raised his hand up. Ian, do you have any?
How to copy an object or a 3D object?
How do you copy? Great question.
I know how to copy an object. You have to you have to right click it if you have a mouse, or if you don't have a mouse, you choose single click, and then you'll find copy, and then you copy it, and then right click and double finger click again, and then paste it.
Wow, Professor Ian. Pretty good.
Thank you, but isn't working.
Sorry, I just realized I was on mute that whole time. Let's can I share my screen again really quickly and show it maybe?
Yeah, go ahead, Vincent.
All right, yeah. It's easier to do it that way. All right, so let's say maybe I want to make a copy of my cube. So I'm gonna right click with my mouse, right? Copy objects. And then I can just get this guy out of the way. Paste objects. There we go.
Yes, I'm doing that, but it
Huh.
just doesn't work.
Huh. Can you are you able to share your screen by any chance, Ian?
Wait a minute. Isn't my rocket? Nah.
Wait, I know how to copy and paste another way. You can click on a. You can left. I think you can left click on it and then Control C and then Control V.
Yes, that's right, James.
Control C. Okay. Nah, it doesn't work again. Hello.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ian, if you end up coming to class, that'll be something that can be one of the first problems we address, because I have a feeling it has something to do with maybe the object or the scene or something, and you can't share your screen, you said, right?
Wait a minute. I can just duplicate objects.
Okay, yeah. There you go.
So it's I think that'll be it for today's class. Like what our teacher Vincent said, if anyone joining our real course, we will teach you more. And oh, that's a nice project, Pranish. Did you improve your project again? Good job. It's more colorful. I really like it.
Nice colors.
I really appreciate everyone's interest in the 3D graphics design. Our teachers have another class schedule, so we are going to temporarily stop the class here, but we welcome anyone to sign up for our real course. And also, by the way, thanks, James, for your teamwork. James has been learning with us for almost 1 year. And has been learning with us with John, with Vincent about Time Machine, Minecraft. Those are our course as well. So thanks, James, and thanks everyone for today. I'm going to quickly share about our real course schedule so that you can have a better idea, and then we look forward for everyone to sign up. All right, let me move it. Okay. So in the 3D real course, you're going to learn how to create a 3D space scene with a rocket. It's going to take you for 8 hours in total to finish a really fancy project like what our teacher Vincent did. So there's no worries and no pressure if you feel overwhelmed today, because we're going to teach you how to break your mission into simple parts. I'll teach you step by step. Gradually, you will have a really fantastic and impressive project by the end of the course. And you will use Blender to compensate nodes for post-production or render and to edit past renders. And you will learn how to sell your ideas in an elevator pitch. The presentation skills are important in our STEM as well. So we'll teach you and you'll become a successful businessman or business lady in future. And those look at our former students' projects, and you will do an even better project than our former students. And here is our class schedule. It's gonna start from December 3rd, in the Eastern time, right after the week following after the Thanksgiving week. And we're gonna start the course, and it's gonna be every Friday, start from 7 p.m. Eastern time, like tonight, like at the same time that you started the class. And it's gonna be every Friday. We're going to have 8 classes in total. You will have fun with us, and we'll teach you everything you want to learn about 3D graphics design. So if you are interested, feel free to stay, and we'll answer your questions about the class with the schedules. And otherwise, let's say bye-bye to our teachers first. Thanks, John.
Okay, Bing, thank you. I hope
I
to see you guys.
want to share one more thing.
Okay,
Of course, feel free to share, Ian. I'm gonna stop sharing here.
hope to see all of you guys soon.
Thanks, John.
Hey, you added a plane, right?
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, you're on the right track. Good, good, good.
We'll
Hope
see
to-
you again, Ian.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
John.
Thanks, Vincent. Bye, guys.
Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you guys. Nice to meet everyone.
Any
Bye-bye.
students, anyone wants to stay, you feel free to stay and still share with us. We'll be here to answer the questions for you.
My birthday's in 2 days.
I'm sorry?
My birthday's in 2 days.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Bye.
Birthday. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Wow, my computer is heating up.
Oh yeah, you have to be careful of that when you're using Blender. Make sure to save your project. Do you know how to do that?
I don't know.
Oh shoot, I should have talked about that. Go to File in the upper left-hand corner and then click Save. Here, can I share?
I know. Okay, and where's the safe?
Make sure you
Okay.
save it to your desktop though, and give it a title. Do you want me to?
PNG, not PNG. Okay. Done.
Yeah, saving your project is important too. You don't want to lose it. It's all right.
Do you want me to? I could share my screen again real quick, Ian, if you want, and show you.
It's okay. It's okay. I nailed it.
Okay, great.
Good job. All right.
All right. So thank you and bye bye.
Hey, thanks for being participating, Ian. Take care.
Okay. Bye bye.
All right, guys, I'm gonna head out because I have another class soon that I have
Thank you, Vincent.
to for.
We appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Bing.
Bye-bye.
Hey, bye, Emma. Drake, Jonas, Peyton. Bye, guys. Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Preden, do you have any questions? How about Drake? Do you have any questions?
Bye, thank you.
No problem. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Peyton. Jonas, do you have any questions? Okay, here is a registration link. If anyone wants to join the course, feel free to go to this link and we'll send the link to your parents as well. The class is gonna start from December 3rd. If Peyton, Jonas, you have any questions, you can always contact us and we'll transfer your question to our teachers. All right, so I guess this will be